I am the pastoral care provider at Congregation Emmanuel. I work with the clergy to, if they feel that somebody needs some more support, they refer somebody to me to meet with them. I used to meet people in person, but haven't since COVID. Everything's been either by Zoom or just by phone, sort of changed my what I do, but I'm still here. I'm still at Congregation Emmanuel. And I have a master's in social work from NYU. I grew up in Norfolk, Virginia, and I've been in California and San Francisco for 20 years now. I can't believe it, almost 21. And I've been here more years than I was in Virginia. And I have been working at Congregation Emmanuel for the last 3 years as the pastoral care provider. And so tonight we're going to talk about the topic is resiliency, caring for sick or aging relatives, sort of a broad category to speak to. And I called upon my friends to come and help. And you're going to be hearing from some wonderful presenters, caregivers, the best in the field. And they're all here in San Francisco and are going to, we're all going to learn about all different kinds of resources that are available to us here in San Francisco as caregivers, because really what this is about is caregiving. And I think that it's such a huge topic, caregiving, and I think we're going to be hearing more and more about it in the news because there are more and more of us becoming caregivers. And the government hasn't really gotten that involved as of yet in helping us with caregiving. And I think that we're going to be seeing that changing. I think that there's a lot of movement, a lot going on that front, and I'm looking forward to it. Oh. And do we have the slide, my slide on caregiving? Yeah. So I just printed this. It was the study done in 2020 from AARP and the Family Caregiver, actually National Alliance for Caregiving. And it's a study that they've done before, and they updated the study. And these are some of the numbers. This is just the outtake from it. And I just thought it was interesting, something to look at and be aware of. I thought it's interesting that they found that, you know, that it's growing, that in 2015, there were 43.5 million caregivers, and now there's 53 million in 2020. And after this pandemic, I'm sure there's even more. So, and that it's just really, it's something that we all need to address and talk about and know what to do and where to go and understand what's available to help us, what kind of resources are available to caregivers. And I thought it was interesting that there were 39% men and 61% women, but 61% of the caregivers are working, and 45% had at least one financial impact, which is understandable because it's expensive. So, okay, you can take down that on. And I just wanted, before we move on to the program and I introduce our wonderful panel tonight, I just wanted to, Rosalind Carter said it first, and she said it the best. There's only 4 kinds of people in the world: those who have been caregivers, those who are currently caregivers, and those who will be caregivers, and those who will need caregivers. I thought that I like that quote a lot. Okay, so are we ready to go? Let's roll.
We're ready.
Okay, all right. So first up is Gwen Harris, who has an MA in gerontology and an FT in thanatology, the study of death and dying. As a member of Seniors at Home Palliative Care Team, Gwen specializes in helping individuals who are suffering from a long-term care illness and their families. In addition to working with clients, she co-teaches Caring for Those You Care About classes to adult children and spouses of older adults, and trains palliative care program volunteers. I'm one of them. Gwen recently co-authored a chapter on death and dying in the book Care Managers, Working with the Aging Family, and served as a guest editor for the Journal of Geriatric Care Management End of Life Care. So here is wonderful Gwen, who we're all looking forward to hearing from you. Gwen is amazing. I took the palliative and the care class, and I learned so much. It was really invaluable. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. So in addition to the professional things that I've done, I also took care of both my parents. My dad had Alzheimer's for 12 years, and I'm an only child. So I took care of my dad, and he died in a beautiful hospice facility in Hawaii. And my mom died because she was his primary caregiver just 2 years after him, even though she was 30 years younger than him, in our living room on hospice. And so I not only come to this field, from a professional level, but also after years of doing this privately. And I have to say that my children were young at the time. So I was part of what's called the sandwich, caregiver. I was taking care of young children at the same time taking care of my parents. And so I understand how difficult it is, especially since our medical system is pretty, it's very difficult to navigate. And as a, as a family member with really lack of experience at that time, it was very, very difficult. And that's why I decided to go into geriatric care management after my parents passed away, because it was really difficult for me to navigate. And just to prove that point, for the last 15 years, I've been working at Jewish Family and Children's Services. And this slide that I'm going to show you are some of the services that we have at Jewish Family and Children's Services. And this is what it takes to take care. I mean, all of these things that are on this list are the services that are needed to take care of one adult that has even just one, limit of mobility. It could be a limitation to mobility. It could be that they have a serious chronic illness. It could be that they have some cognitive difficulties. But whenever something very, even one illness can, there are many, many services that we need in order to keep someone thriving at home, or, to help them find a wonderful assisted living place that can provide these services, or a skilled nursing facility. It takes a lot to take care of a person and to caregive. And so, but Jewish Family and Children's Services Seniors at Home does it really well. So this is a list of some of the services we had, and I just wanted to share them with you. Our first service is home care. We have, expert caregivers that can do anywhere from 4 to 24 hours a day. They can help with personal care or household, any household needs. They also provide companionship. They can take our clients out on walks. That's our professional home care service. We also have case management, which is what I do. I'm a geriatric care manager as part of the palliative care program. And we help people navigate the medical system, take people to doctor appointments, communicate with physicians and, hospitals and family members. Maybe family members aren't living close by. We help keep family members on top of the information that is, and the services that we provide their loved ones. Jewish Family and Children's Services also has a wonderful center for dementia care, where we have experts that provide practical and emotional support to families, and we help communicate to doctors about different, with that, the different things that are happening for our clients. We communicate that also to family members, help everyone communicate well with each other, because really the coordination of care becomes the most important part in helping families stay connected and helping each other. I work as part of the palliative care program, and I'm not, some people are familiar with palliative care. Palliative care is a subset of a medical system that where the focus is really quality of life. And we help, all the people, we work as a team effort. We have a rabbi that's part of our palliative care team. We have 2 physicians that are part of the palliative care team. And we also have wonderful volunteers that help and, sit at the bedside of our clients. Of course, during COVID, it's changed a little bit. We're not able to actually go to the homes right now, but we provide, support as much as we can by calling them, making sure that they're okay. We also have nursing visits, nurses that go to our clients' homes and help with medication management. These are all the things that families are doing, family caregivers do for their family members that sometimes they need help with. So whatever it is that you need help with, taking care of a family member, Jewish Family and Children's Services and Seniors at Home can also provide. We also offer fiduciary services. Some of our clients need help with, the practical bill paying every month. We also have fiduciaries and conservatorship. We help with power of attorney for some of our clients. We have a whole series of, providing services for financial needs of our clients. We also, this is a long list of things, and I don't expect everyone to remember all of this, but if you ever need, any kind of help, you can always call us and we can go over these. But to continue on, we also have support groups and counseling. We have senior therapists that work with some of our clients. We have bereavement support. And, we also have friendly visitors, people that deliver bags to our seniors, grocery bags right now during COVID, and meals. We have a kosher meal on wheel program. And we have a rides program that helps transport seniors to doctor's appointments or to the grocery store. We also have volunteers that do that for our seniors and our clients. And we also have day clubs. We have 3 different locations in Marin and San Francisco. And, we provide social programs at JFCS. A lot of this stuff has kind of been put on hold for COVID, but, we still have callers that are calling our seniors. We do a lot of Zoom club calls to our Holocaust survivors, and a lot of our clients are participating in some of these Zoom programs. Jewish Family and Children's Services provides a lot of different care, either professional care, volunteer care. We do our best to really help, seniors in our facility. So if as a family caregiver, you find that you need help, please reach out and, we can do our best to support whatever, services your loved one might need. Thank you very much.
Oops, I muted. Hi, thank you, Gwen. That was great. Thank you. So, yeah. Oh, wait. Where am I? I lost myself. Okay. All right. Can you hear me? You okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay.
That happens. It's okay.
All right. Okay. Thanks. So, thanks, Gwen. So I asked Gwen to sort of do an overview of, Jewish Family and Children's Services, which is like a tall order because they have so many programs. But I think Gwen did a great job of highlighting some of the caregiver, programs that caregivers can utilize and as support. And it's good to know that they're there. Sometimes we don't know what's around us or what exactly is. We've heard of these agencies, but we don't know what's going on. So now you know what's going on there. Thanks, Gwen.
Yes, thank you.
So next up is Stella. Stella Lazo is a family consultant at Family Caregiver Alliance. She received her master's in social work from Rutgers University As a family consultant, she conducts comprehensive assessments for family caregivers, connecting them with community resources and provides ongoing support and counseling. She leads psychoeducational classes for caregivers on topics including self-care and dealing with dementia behavior. She was born in Uruguay and joined FCA after working in New Jersey, providing counseling to domestic violence survivors and doing advocacy for children and families. So thanks, Stella, for being here. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I do have a PowerPoint for all of you to talk a little bit more about long distance caregiving and what that entails right now. So whenever you guys are ready for the PowerPoint. Thank you. Okay, so we can move to the next slide, please. We'll talk about the agenda and what's to come.
Can you see that, Stella?
Yes, if you can go to the next slide. Is that working? Do you guys see it? I can try to share it on my end.
You're not able to see it? That's interesting. Let me try to share it again. Okay, hang on
Okay,
just a moment.
thank you.
I don't know what the technical issue was. Worked when we practiced.
I see the slide, just not the moving to the next slide. So I don't know if
Interesting.
that's me or if it's.
Okay, we're gonna try one more time.
Yeah, I can try it on my end if.
Let's see. Share. Here we go. Full screen. Okay, is it full screen for you?
It's not for me. I don't know if it's for any. I'm the only one
Okay.
having.
I don't know why it's doing
No.
that. It worked earlier, didn't it?
Do you want me to try on my end?
I guess you might need to. I don't know why it's not
Okay,
working.
let me just pull it up on my end.
Let me make sure you're okay. There you go.
Okay, give me 1 second
Okay,
then. Okay, can you all see this?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And it's full
Great.
screen?
Yeah.
Now it's full screen.
Okay, good,
Thank
good.
you.
Okay, thanks everyone. Perfect. So like Julie said, my name is Stella. I'm with Family Caregiver Alliance. I am one of the family consultants, and I provide services to family caregivers who we reach out for our services. So we'll get started today. I want to speak a little bit about what is caregiving from a distance, some common challenges that caregivers face, some rules for caregiving, how to come up with a long distance care plan if you are caring for someone and you're far away. I'm going to talk about CareNav, which is our system that caregivers can utilize to go in themselves, do their own intake, answer some questions, get resources, and then if they want to go forward for other services, you can also request that as well. If you don't live in the counties that we serve, there are other 10 California caregiver resource centers that you can use. So I'll let you know a little bit about that and how to do that. And then some information about FCA services to see if it's something that you guys might be interested in and can benefit from. So the first thing I want to talk about is what is caregiving from a distance. And a lot of people don't necessarily identify themselves as caregivers. So that's the first step, correct? Trying to speak, to your loved ones and making sure that you feel comfortable saying, I am a caregiver. Yes, I'm caring for my spouse, I'm caring for my parent, but I'm also a caregiver, right? And a lot of people see this job as something that they have to do, right? If I were to care for my mom, it's something that I have to do. I'm her daughter, it's my duty, correct? But you're also a caregiver, and you also have rights, and you also have to take care of yourself. And it's important to understand that you don't have to be that far away to be considered long distance caregiving. Especially now with COVID, we have a lot more caregivers who are not able to see their loved one every day, or travel as often. As they would pre-COVID. So even, a distance of an hour can cause a challenge. A distance of 30 minutes can cause that challenge, and it comes with with its own challenges. And then you might be, the secondary caregiver. So let's say you are a child, and you live far from mom and dad, and mom, it's a primary caregiver, but you're taking over some of that care, whether it's financial, setting up appointments. You are still caregiving, and you still need that support. Correct. So some common challenges that someone that is caregiving from a long distance can have, relying on what people are telling you. That's a big one, right? Because you're not able to be there for yourself to see how things are really going. And sometimes we have to rely on what, another family member is seeing, or, what maybe a paid provider is telling you. Trying to balance between work, family, and caregiving, that's always a challenge. Right now, with COVID, it might be a little more intensive because people are working from home. So it's also that challenge of, I have to care for my loved one, but I also have to fulfill my work duties. Figuring out when and how often you should go to see your loved one, that's also a challenge. If it's out of state, trying to figure out that, am I going to take this trip? Can I even take time off from work to go see my loved one? If you are an hour away, that also comes with its challenges. And now even with COVID, right, we run that risk of not of wanting to keep our loved ones safe. So it's also kind of that issue that we're having right now. Yes, I want to go see them, but it might not be safe right now for me to do so. And then finances and time off from work, again, to work or travel. It might, someone might not be able to take off from work to do these things. Contemplating moving your relative closer to you. That is also something that a lot of people, I have a lot of caregivers who their parents lived out of state, and their question is sometimes, what would it look like if I moved my parent here with me to San Francisco? So that's also, something that a lot of people struggle with. And then finding resources, right? Because we don't live, let's say, where we might live in a different county than the person that we're caring for. We might not know all of the resources that are available to that person. And then also, monitoring the care workers. If you have a paid provider that is caring for your loved one, you might not be able to see them every day to make sure that they're doing a good job in taking care of your loved one, and then you are relying on what they're telling you. So these are some challenges that some of you might be aware of or might have faced. So some rules of being a caregiver, these are extremely important. Number one is to take care of yourself, right? A lot of caregivers put themselves on the back burner because they want to care for their loved one. Correct. So yes, it's important for you to do that, but also a lot of family caregivers, they don't see their doctors regularly. They don't go for checkups. So it's important to still find things to do that you enjoy, and also, keeping up with all of those doctor appointments. And then knowledge and confidence will come a little bit at a time, but bit by bit, you will sort out the challenges and find the solutions, right? A lot of times when we have caregivers call us, that there's a lot of questions that they have, and what are the resources that might be out there. So it's important, to take things, one step at a time. Take your time, and then some, solutions will come. And then get the support you need, right? If you are a spouse caring, for your partner, and you have children, involve your children. And a lot of times we hear caregivers say, I do have children, but they do have their own lives. They have, their own children to take care of. They have um, a job, right? So it's important to know that you don't have to go at it alone, and just trying to find those relatives that are willing to help, so that you can get a break as well. Um, and then, when possible, trying to involve the person that you're caring for to make all of these decisions with you, right? And to always respect their wishes and their wants, and their preferences when thinking about how to set up care for them. And then in the bottom, I don't know if you guys can click on them, but there are a few fact sheets that I thought might be helpful. Some bill of rights for you, for caregivers, some ideas on how to take care of you, of yourself, and some self-care tips. Saying yes to offers of help, which a lot of caregivers are often, like I said, hesitant to um, asking for help, or even accepting that help if it's offered. And then how to hold a family meeting, which is always an important topic if you want to involve other family members in the care of your loved one. And then we're going to talk about next about some ways to come up with a long distance care plan. So we're going to talk about what's going on in the situation, who is involved, and how to get the help that you need. The first part, what's going on. So get clarity. Try to get a diagnosis of the situation, and the diagnosis that your relative might have, right? Both cognitively and what they're able to do physically. And what are their care needs now? So can they go to the bathroom on their own? Can they feed themselves? Are they incontinent? Are they going to need assistance in cleaning up for themselves? Well, what's up by food? Are they able to eat? Are they going to need a wheelchair? Or can they walk from here, from their bed to the bathroom? Or do they need, help in getting up from the sofa, getting up from the bed? Are they a fall risk? Right? So things that we have to consider. What is it that they can do right now in this moment, so that we can talk about what resources might be available? And then it's always important to know where these important documents are. So if your loved one has, trust or wills or power of attorneys, or healthcare directive, it's always good to know where those documents are before a crisis, right? Before something happens, we want to know where these documents are, so that we are prepared. So it's always a good idea, to speak to the person that you're caring for, and try to get this information before something happens. And then it's important also to know that needs change over time. So, when you access, let's say, someone with dementia, it's a very progressive disease. So where they are now might not be where they are a year later. So it's important to know that the needs are going to continue to change. And that comes along with changing of resources, and changing of healthcare directives, maybe of power of attorney. So it's important to know that, to be flexible with that notion, right? That things might change, especially if it's a progressive disease. Okay, and then who is involved, right? So like I said, figuring out if you can get a support network, right? If you are caring for someone long distance, especially let's say you're a secondary caregiver, are there other siblings that are involved? Are there children, parents that are involved, or just any other family members that might be able to help you in and coming up with a care plan and being part of this network that you're trying to create? Do you have neighbors or friends that can, if you can't go see your mom or your dad, or whoever you're caring for, are they able to stop by to make sure that they're okay? Right? Do you have friends in the area that can do the same? Are you familiar with who their doctors are or who their healthcare providers are? And do you feel comfortable, reaching out to them to get information or to collaborate with them in the care of your loved one? And then, of course, being involved in community groups, either senior centers or a faith-based group, or a retiree group, anything that it's going to help you care for your loved one. And again, at the bottom, there's more fact sheets that talk about caregiving with your siblings, since we know that, sometimes it might be challenging and there might be different family dynamics, or a guide on how to, for community resources for caring at home. So who is involved? Again, holding a family meeting. It's important if there's going to be more people involved in the care, and clarifying, what the goals are and what the responsibilities are. And it's important for people to share their feelings and their concerns. Put it out on the table so that you're able to come up with a plan that works for the person that you're caring for, and determine what roles. So what per person is going to take over what. Let's say we have siblings that are caring for a parent. One of them might be better at financial things, so that person might be able to take care of finances. Let's say we might have someone who only takes care of like appointments, or taking someone to their appointments. So trying to determine who is going to do what. That's always helpful. And then again, and to delegate the job. So who's going to pay for the bills? Who's going to talk to the doctors? Who might be doing, research on the diagnosis, or on resources in the area? And then again, what are some of the strengths and the abilities of the family members that they might want to take part of? And then how to get help. Number one, what we always say, and it might sound a little silly, but asking for help, right? Like I said, a lot of caregivers are hesitant to do so because they don't want to be a burden either to their children or to other siblings, or sometimes as a spouse, we feel that it's me and I have to do this. This is my duty. So it's important first to ask for help, and see if people are willing to do so. If there is a care team already in place of family members, it's important for people for everyone to be in the loop of what's going on with the situation. I'm sorry. And then with that, you can use share calendars are always helpful. You also have apps or websites like Lots of Helping Hands or Cozy, where it's kind of, let's say it's a group of siblings or just family members, and mom needs groceries tomorrow. So let's say you can go to Lots of Helping Hands and put groceries are needed, and someone can go ahead and pick up groceries that day for mom or dad. So it's a pretty helpful tool to use if there is a care team involved. And then of course there's a number of agencies in the area that are able to provide these services for you on how to get help. So you have things like Meals on Wheels or meal delivery that is able to provide those meals for your loved one if you're not able to do so, or if they can prepare food. You have programs like adult daycare. Unfortunately, right now due to COVID, they're closed. But if they were to open again, it might be a good place to consider, right? Something to consider to have your loved one go, for a few hours and do some activities outside of the home. It's also a good idea to think about in-home help if it's something that you might want to do, or the care is needed. And there's two ways to do that. You can go through an agency or a private hire. There is a fact sheet on this. I'm not sure that we have. I'm not sure if it's on this, but if not, I can share when I'm done and I can put it in the chat on how to hire in-home help. If that's a way that you want to do it. And it's also something to think about in regards to finances. Are we able to afford this, and for how long? If we do this, are we going to be able to afford this? For someone who is caregiving long distance, there's also geriatric care managers, and they're able to kind of take over a few things for you and do do all of the care for the caregiver. I'm sorry, for your loved one. Thinking about transportation, if you're going to be caregiving at home, am I going to be able to take my loved one to the doctor, right? Or are they going to be able to go down a flight of stairs, or are we going to have to hire someone to come and help us get them down? Or you have things like paratransit in San Francisco that could help as well. Also thinking about looking at agencies, I'm sorry, that provide volunteers. I know right now, because of COVID, it might be a little something that we don't want to do, but in the future, it might, someone who could come in and just have like a chat, or just to do some activities with your loved one. And as always, telephone check-ins are always helpful. So finding either other friends or family members who are willing to call and check in on your loved one, either through Zoom, FaceTime, or just a regular call. Something also to think about is a legal consultation. So speaking to an elder law attorney about power of attorneys, and just what you might need if you're going to be caregiving for your loved one. Also getting an idea of what the financial situation is, and what might need to be done in the future, and what you might be able to afford. So support groups, of course, we always encourage those as a source of support for other caregivers to reach out to the community and speak to other caregivers. There are some general caregiver support groups, or more specific to the diagnosis that someone is caring for. And then how to get help. You can go, if you live out of state, like I said, you can go to our family care navigator. I put a screenshot on it, and you can go there and put the state that your loved one lives in, and you would get kind of a list of agencies that would be able to help. You can also do the same with elder care locator, and put the state that the person lives in. If you live in, and I'll tell you our 6 counties in a little bit, you can also go, actually, I'll talk about that in a second. You also have a Family and Medical Leave Act, which that provides a benefit to individuals who need to take time off of work to care for a seriously ill family member. So whether that is a parent-in-law, a grandparent, a child, a sibling, a spouse, or a registered domestic partner. And then you also have paid family leave if you live in California, and that allows you the same to take some time off to care for an ill family member. So this is a little bit what I wanted to talk about. CareNav is our system. The family caregivers can go in, put your information, do your own intake, and get resources on the side of your situation. I'm sorry. You can do the intake. If you're interested in doing the assessment, you can go ahead and you would be directed to one of our family consultants. It's a very good platform to use if you're just looking for resources and seeing what is out there for you. If you live outside of the 6 counties that that FCA serves, and I'll talk about those counties in the next slide. You can go to the California Caregiver Resource Center, enter your zip code, and it will tell you what Caregiver Resource Center belongs to your county. And then just some of the services that we provide services in 6 counties in the Bay Area. So Alameda, Contra Costa, Marin, San Francisco, San Mateo, and Santa Clara. And we provide services to family and friends who are caring for someone with an adult onset cognitive or neurological impairment. And we provide services, like I said, a comprehensive assessment of your situation. We have support groups. We have some options for respite, depending on the county that you're in, some individual counseling, a lot of educational classes around specific diagnoses, around caregiving, self-care, and a lot of webinars as well. So I think that's it for me, but if you guys have any questions, I think we'll wait till the end.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Stella. That was unbelievable. That was a lot of information.
I know
Wow.
it's a lot.
That was amazing. Thank you. Yeah, I learned so much, like I haven't thought about in a long time, but it was so great. Thank you. I know everybody appreciated all of that information. So next up, we have another teacher of mine, Dr. Patrick Arbor. He's a nationally recognized expert in the field of elderly suicide prevention and grief services. He's devoted his life to increasing awareness of isolation, loneliness, and depression in older adults. Dr. Arbor's presentation promotes better informed and healthier communities whose members have increased understanding of the issues of aging, inner loneliness, sorrow, stress, and anxiety, and reach out to listen, make connections, and support each other as we adjust to the experiences of older age. Patrick, thank you so much for being here. You have to unmute.
You know, you'd think by now I would learn to unmute. However, it's always helpful to have somebody remind me. And I'm very happy to be part of this presentation tonight. And I want to thank Julie for inviting me. And also it's a pleasure to meet Gwen and Stella. And as you said, Julie, I've learned a whole lot, and I've been in this field since 1973. You'd think I would know what JFCS does and Family Caregiver Alliance, but I've just learned a lot just by listening. And, you know, as Julie said, my name is Patrick Arbor, and I am the director and founder of the Center for Elderly Suicide Prevention and Grief-Related Services at Institute on Aging. And if you want to put the slide deck up, Carol.
Let's make sure this works. I don't know why it didn't work last time. Here we go.
That's
Okay.
Stella's.
Oh, sorry.
That's the one that didn't work.
Oh, right. You're right. Hang on. Okay. Nope, wrong one. Sorry. Sorry. Correct? The suspense is killing me. Okay.
That looks familiar.
Is it full screen?
Yeah.
And okay. Does this
No,
appear
it's not
to you?
full screen.
I don't know why it's doing this. I'm so sorry.
You might want to Why don't you hit enable editing? You see that, Carol?
Yeah. Let me go
And if
there.
you hit
Okay.
that,
Yeah, it worked when we tested it earlier. I don't understand.
and now if you go to slideshow, hit that,
Okay, it's still not doing it, is it?
and there we go. Can people see that? Whoop.
Yeah, this is, I don't want to edit it. So I'm so sorry. I don't know why it's not. Hang on, let me this.
But it said click slideshow at the top and play the slideshow.
The problem is it's hidden by my Zoom controls. The problem. So this should go full screen this
Looks
way.
good to me on my screen.
So
That's smaller.
yeah, I don't know why it's not coming out correctly.
I think it was, you had all the screen that you could see the other slides when you had it up before.
Like this.
Yeah, like on the left, you can see the second slide.
Well, yeah, I can do it that way.
Good.
Is that okay with you?
You got it.
Yeah, I was
That
trying not
works
to.
perfectly.
There you go.
I don't know why it wouldn't
Yeah,
work when we did it before. Sorry about that.
Okay.
That's okay. We can just we can do it that way. I'm happy with that. And the you know, as Julie said, I for the last 26 years, my program has been part of Institute on Aging. We merged with Institute on Aging in 1997. So I've been with them for 26 years. But for the 22 years previous to that, I began the Friendship Line in 1973. And I know when I say that to you all, you're probably thinking to yourself, my God, he must have been a child protege because look how young he looks. And this is his 48th year of doing this work. So I know I started very young. And but we began Friendship Line in 1973 as a result of, some of you will remember, the San Francisco Commission on the Aging, and which has you know, evolved into the Department of Disability and Aging Services. And we began that because the people at the San Francisco Commission on the Aging were very concerned about the high rates of suicide among older adults, and yet they were not seeing um, a corresponding high number of calls to traditional suicide prevention centers. So they were very concerned about that discrepancy or disparity. So they had invited us to think of a way that we could target older people and younger disabled individuals who may be depressed or lonely or isolated, and to see if we could do that. And I was studying aging at the time, and one of the things I thought about just in terms of my own older relatives is that when I would call them on the phone or visit them, and I might have had an agenda like, how are things going, or how's your health, and is the house getting too big, and you're thinking about downsizing. Well, they didn't want to talk about any of that. What they wanted to do was to have not a confrontation, they wanted to have a conversation. And so we decided that we would call our 24-hour line the Friendship Line, which was more of an invitation. So when our volunteers or staff would answer the phone, we say, hello, Friendship Line, versus hello, elderly suicide prevention or crisis intervention. And what we found, when I first began the program, is that if I had 100 calls from older people or younger disabled or their caregivers in a month, I thought that was a lot. We've been receiving around 1,000 calls per day for the last probably year and year and a half, and it certainly took an uptick with the pandemic. So this is our 48th year of the Friendship Line, and then some of you probably remember when Gavin Newsom had introduced Friendship Line California, which is also our program. This was in a partnership with the California State Department of Aging. And they wanted to make Friendship Line more visible. And so they went into a contract with us for that. We have always served the state of California, but in a more modest way because we just didn't have the resources to do the promotion of Friendship Line. So I'm happy to say that we serve all 58 counties, and also we receive many calls from across the country. So Friendship Line is really, I'm so proud of it that it's serving people and, you know, throughout California, but also the country. And one of the pillars of the Friendship Line was loneliness. And I believed back in the early 70s, and I believe more so now, is that, you know, that if we could help decrease loneliness and social isolation among older people, that we would have an opportunity as well to decrease depression and you know, decrease suicidal thinking. And that has always been my belief. And as we know about loneliness, and certainly that has become quite a topic since the pandemic began, and just the challenges that, you know, abiding by the guidelines of, you know, staying indoors and wearing masks if you go out or being socially distant has been really, really challenging for older people, particularly, but really for anybody that, you know, lives alone, or even if you have partners, it can be very stressful. And we know that loneliness is more of a risk factor for premature death than, as Drs. Parasanato and Dr. John Cacioppo, you know, had realized in their research that loneliness is more of a risk factor than smoking 15 cigarettes per day, or being obese, or, you know, other kinds of health factors. So loneliness and social isolation has been a real interest of mine for 48 years. The other has to do with traumatic loss and our grief services. And the Friendship Line and Friendship Line California number are there. And as you can see, that our confidential telephone discussions are geared to people 60 plus who may be their caregivers, or it could be younger disabled people who call. I've always been very sensitive to the needs of family caregivers. I talked to many family caregivers. I appreciated the comments that Stella made about long distance caregivers, because I'm talking to a lot of adult children of older people who live in other parts of California to try to guide them to, you know, help meet some of the needs of their older parents. And we deal with people, again, who are lonely, isolated, bereaved, depressed, anxious, or thinking about death and or suicide. And, you know, as an accredited 24-hour telephone hotline, we're also a warm line. And we're one of the, I think, the only agency in the country that is accredited by being both a crisis intervention hotline, but also a warm line. And people don't have to be in a suicidal crisis to call us. And again, my vision has always been to create a conversation with people. Older people and younger disabled can always call back. They can call once a day. We will call out to them as well. The next slide, Carol. Thank you. And then we also do call outs as well. And this is a program and maybe similar to what Stella was talking about and Gwen, but we'll reach out to older people, and we're particularly interested in reaching people who are really, you know, really wanting to maintain their independence and their autonomy, but they may have cognitive impairment. They may be dealing with some health issues that are very problematic, or bereavement issues. And so we will call out to them. People can refer individuals to the IOA Connect line. And we also have our grief services. And I just wanted to comment on this because I feel like it's an important part of our support of people, not only in the city and county, but from anywhere in the state of California. Our grief services, like I think Stella and Gwen were saying, have moved to the Zoom platform. And we have Saturday morning drop-in traumatic loss groups from 10:30 a.m. till noon. They meet every Saturday morning. And then we have 8-week traumatic loss grief groups. And if you know of an older person or a younger person in our grief services, we provide grief counseling for adults of any age. And obviously, because we're the Institute on Aging, have always been very interested in working with older people who are experiencing losses. And that's the information there to reach me if you have someone that you know who would benefit from being a part of our Zoom meetings. And I just wanted to also acknowledge that, just to give you a little bit of the flavor of our groups, every group that we do, whether it's an 8-week group or the Saturday morning drop-in groups, we like to begin with a reading. And the reading is a way to kind of bring people together in the group to be able to recognize that we're going to be in a more sacred space by joining together with other people who are grieving. And we have trained facilitators who make sure that the people in the group feel safe. And just an example of one of our readings, this one is by Mary Margaret Funk, and she writes, "When tears come, I breathe deeply and rest. I know I am swimming in a hallowed stream where many have gone before. I am not alone. I am not crazy. I'm not having a nervous breakdown. My heart is at work. My soul is awake." And then we proceed with the work of helping people experience and express their feelings of grief and loss. And and we serve, I think, usually around 25 to 30 people in total on Saturday mornings. And then we have 3 8-week groups going right now. And one of them is a 12-step traumatic loss grief group for people that are in 12-step recovery, Alcoholics Anonymous or Al-Anon, ACA, or different programs like that. The next slide, Carol. And I like this quote also by Vivek Murthy. I think probably most of you are familiar. He had been our former Surgeon General during the Obama administration. And he is, I think, a nominee for that same post in the Biden administration. And if you haven't read his book, Together, by Vivek Murthy, I highly recommend it. It's a really wonderful book about the importance of connecting to people. And he writes, "It's hard to escape the idea that social connection is a healing force we need to cultivate, and that we have, in fact, in many ways, neglected or taken for granted." And I would say that I so support that statement, because in the beginning of my work, probably for the first 25 years or so, I would talk about loneliness and social isolation as presentations, and very few people would come to that. It's kind of like they would say, well, that's the lot of older people. That's just what happens to them. And I've always been so strongly, advocating against that kind of ageist attitude, that loneliness can happen to anybody. And one of the things we do through the friendship line is, as I said, that we really want to change that, that dynamic, which is because an older person is, has just lost friends and family members due to geographic changes or death or whatever, that connections can still be made, and during this pandemic, I think many organizations have been trying to find creative ways, to stay connected with the older populations in our communities. The next slide, please. And one of the main things that we try to do, again, in our grief groups or on the friendship line, is give people permission, to express their feelings, as I said earlier, and not repress them and not hold them back. Because, if we repress our feelings of grief, it's going to, that energy is going to come out in other ways, maybe in displaced anger or frustration. And we believe it's very healthy to express anger, sorrow, missing, the feeling of loneliness that comes up when we are mourning our loved ones. And we believe that grief and mourning are natural experiences, but they're one of the probably most painful natural experiences that most of us face as we get older. Grieving is an important part of living because experiencing loss is inevitable for everyone, and we need to provide ways in which to support people. The next slide. And so, what can we do? Well, what we do at Institute on Aging, and like Gwen and Stella were saying, Institute on Aging has many different programs, but I'm just focusing on Friendship Line and our grief services right now. But what we try to do through Friendship Line, what we try to do in our grief services is connect with people. And I believe, again, firmly that connections with others bind us to life, and we know that, the psychological and emotional consequences of this pandemic has been anxiety, and this collective sorrow that we have been experiencing. When you think of over 500,000 people have died of COVID, and you think of at least, 6 people were intimately affected by each of those deaths, and it's probably many more. Look at all the numbers of bereaved people who have been thrust into this mourning experience as the result of COVID. And in our way, we're trying to reach out to those individuals as well. And we believe that connections are paramount to caring for people, again, who are lonely, anxious, or depressed. And what we ask of our grief facilitators and our Friendship Line volunteers is to be as present as possible, with the people with whom we come in contact. And we want to share the gift of attention. What I hear over and over again from the older people that I speak to, and I speak to, many people throughout the week, and what they ask for is that I just need someone to listen to me. I just want to be heard. And, is that too much to ask? A woman had asked me earlier today. She said, is that too much to crave? I just want somebody to hear me. And again, as I said, connections are what bind us to life. And so, I hope this gives you a bit of a flavor of what, what we do, through the Friendship Line program and through our grief services program at Institute on Aging. And, my email was on that first or second slide. Please don't hesitate to contact me if you have any questions. And it's nice to see you, Eleanor, and I'm glad you're here with us tonight. And again, thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, Patrick. That was wonderful. Thank you. And
You're
you
welcome.
two have given us a lot to think about and a lot of resources available to us here in San Francisco, and the friendship line and the grief groups, and so wonderful, so necessary, so important. And I'm glad that I feel lucky that I've been able to be a part of it in a small way lately.